Yes.
Thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me.
It,
I'm going to warn you in advance. I may have a little bit of a fangirl moment. I am a huge fan of Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
I so appreciate that. I have no idea how many fans I had until I've been doing rounds and meeting people through Clown in a Cornfield. I think I've hidden my little bubble of my family in Canada for too long because thank you for watching that movie and contributing to its success.
Love it. I can't even tell you how many times I've seen it. It's brilliant. Perfect.
Wow,
Perfect.
thank you. And to think we couldn't make that movie, like it was so difficult to make and sell, and we couldn't find a distributor and all these things.
Well, it definitely glad that it did because it's a trip.
Thanks.
Okay, now let's talk about your new movie, Clown in a Cornfield. I
Yeah,
watched it last night and I really enjoyed it.
awesome. Awesome. Bit of a different feel than Tucker and Dale, but has some similar tonalities sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, the kills definitely have the same vibe.
Yeah, fun kills and some humor, but I really wanted to do a like horror first sort of action it was like horror action comedy in that version. And I've always loved I always considered myself like weirdly enough like an action director. I was like, come on guys, give me Terminator 4 or something. I want to be James Cameron and do T2 and Aliens. But after Tucker and Dale, I would get a lot of like very straight comedy movies and straight forward comedy has never really interested me because it's not like cinematic. It's not you don't really get to move the camera in cool ways and run through the forest with people. So this film kind of got it let me explore and play with, another skill set of mine, which I think is the action skill set. And though it was way lower budget than any action movies ever made, horror kind of gives you the chance to play with that a little bit because it's just historically so low budget and it allows you to just be a little looser with stuff. And yeah, it was a really fun film to make. It really was.
Yeah, it's definitely got a lot of action. It's definitely got a lot of horror.
Mm.
And I'm a bit jaded. I've watched a lot of horror movies, so it's rare that one catches me off guard. And Clown in the Cornfield did because I'm going into it. I thought it was one kind of movie, and then something happened. I'm like, well, no, it's this kind of movie. And then I'm like, no, it had me scratching my head, and that I appreciate so much.
Wow, thank you. Yeah, I mean, there's some pushback. I know that sometimes the producers are like, we don't want them to scratch their head too much. Um, but I kind of like keeping people off kilter a little bit and playing it out long enough that like, oh, I know what film this is. I know what's going to happen next. And then that thing doesn't happen next. And to play, I really feel like my movies like are interactive with the audience. That's why I think they play better in a crowd. I don't know if you ever got to see Tucker and Dale with the crowd,
I
but
have.
it's amazing. Yeah, and so it's an interactive experience, and some of what I'm interacting with the audience members on is their expectations, and the really horror savvy film goers that know the tropes. So they're sure the movie's going to go in this way, and you start getting kind of cozy and comfortable with it. Okay, and to try to do those well and not be like, you know, not be playing at it, but like, okay, I'm committing to this, doing these tropes well enough that like if I don't change the film on a dime or do something different, you'll still kind of enjoy the film and be like, all right. But it's when it does change that it kind of gives you a little boost of adrenaline and dopamine and you sit up and go, wait a minute,
Yeah,
this is not what I was expecting.
exactly. And it's wonderful. And the design of Frendo is really I like it. I don't know how to explain it, but
Mm.
it reminds me of like those old days.
Yeah.
Can you talk about your inspiration for his design?
Yeah, that was a lot. I'm glad you say that because he was designed originally after like the 1930s and 40s clowns, where that were very America embracing and there was so much kind of hope and optimism, I think, in America after post World War II and through the 50s um, and this sort of expansionism and just there was a point when and I saw the commercials on this in like the 1940s when corn syrup was considered a cure-all to all sickness. And kids would take a good spoonful of corn syrup in the morning to like make sure they were healthy through the day. And so there's this sort of absurdity to America's like optimism that then is crumbling and kind of getting dismantled in America in present day. And a lot of it has to do with small town America and the Rust Belt that just these jobs haven't been replaced and economic hardship. And so I can't even speak to like all the metaphors in there, but Frendo feels like he represents the metaphor of America, going from a really hopeful place to somewhat demented, angry place.
I can see it. I can see it. And, I love the fact that it was a real cornfield and not some CGI thing. Because where I live, I'm surrounded by cornfields. So every time I drive by one now, I'm just going to look and be like, is there something hiding in there?
It, you know, I did when I did Little Evil, I did a little scene in a cornfield with Adam Scott and Bridget Everett freaking out in a cornfield. And it is so cinematic in there, right? Because you have this backdrop that's just automatic. Corn is higher than an average person's head. Maybe not Kevin Durant. Maybe he's the one guy that would tower over it.
Yeah.
But everybody else in my movie is too small to see over the corn. So it's very haunting and easy to get lost in a cornfield. But we had to shoot this practically. It would never have the same feel if we CG corn, forget about it. And I feel that way about everything. I would, almost the whole movie is practical. There's some accentuating, of some effects. Sometimes you have to add a blade that's going through somebody's body because, you don't want to hurt them. But it's almost all practical, and that's the beauty of it. It's figuring out how to do it real in camera.
Right. People just don't know those cornfields will cut you up. So that
Yeah.
kind of adds to, a little bit of, because everybody that's ever lived near them or been in them knows that pain.
Well, that's why that line that Ronnie, that Verity says in there, where she's like just walking through the corn and she goes, "Ow, this corn hurts." It gets a laugh because when they're running through it later, full sprint, I mean, my actors, they had scrapes all over them and bits of corn sticks. Katie Douglas got a piece of a corn stick in her eye. And at first we were like, whoa, this could be really serious. But she pulled it out, blinked, and was like, give me some Visine and let's go again. And you know, people don't realize how tough people who work in the film industry are. And it's not glamorous, man. We're down there with the bugs and the muck and mud, covered in blood and running through a cornfield. It's not easy.
Right. No, it's not. And the fact when the I don't know how I can, give this away, but when certain people emerge from the corn, it's
Yeah.
such a creepy scene. I mean, it looks like, it's bad. It's horror all the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's great.
Cool.
It's
Awesome.
great. I have to ask you, what's your favorite kill?
In this movie, well,
Mm,
again, I can't give away I don't know if this will play before or after people have seen it, but I would say uh the hero, our hero, our final girl, does have an almost final kill. Um, I would just say every time our final girl survives and takes and is a great kill. Let's just put it that way. Every like moment that she rises to the occasion is great.
yeah, she's tough.
Yeah.
She was a good choice.
Awesome. I'm glad you say so because I hope this helps catapult her into more and more roles because she's a really talented young actor.
Yeah, she was great, and everybody was great in it. And seeing Kevin Durant in that creepy role, because he can be so creepy when he wants to be,
Mhm.
is great. But he's such a great guy. So
Yeah,
it's
Kevin
amazing.
Durant's one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet, and then he puts on his clown makeup and comes out and plays Arthur, and it's just terrifying. I was scared on set.
Definitely, definitely. But I can't wait till we can talk about it, the movie with everybody and everybody's seen it, because it's gonna be good. It's gonna be
Yeah,
good.
awesome.